So welcome back students, a very warm welcome to all the students. So children, we are going to complete the exercise part, and then we are going to have the exam which is in the month of August, that is next month. So we have just few days to go for the exams, children. So unofficially I'm just telling you that this will be just the one chapter that you will be having for your exam, so do not worry. So I'm giving away the notes to you, and yesterday we have done with 5 questions, and today we are going to complete the rest of the questions also. And make sure children that other than these notes you please read the complete chapter as well, because yes, the mainly the questions will be asked from the notes, but other than the notes there might be few questions that is from the chapter itself. So please read the chapter. It is very important for you that as a student you should understand the whole concept of that is about different types of softwares. So now the next question that we had was, what is the purpose of language processor? So already I have typed this answer to this, that is a special translator system software that is used to translate the program written in high level language into machine code is called as language processor or translator program. So that is the answer. So then we are going to go for the next question, that is differentiate between an interpreter and compiler. And this is what we have to I have already typed for the compiler. So what does the compiler do, children? Compiler will basically take the entire code in one go, and it will convert the entire code in machine. And regarding the errors, that is let me just search for the word compiler. So I'll copy this file, paste it, and go to the top and search from the top. So compiler, just a minute. Or we can search for the interpreter, one and the same thing. I mean, it will come to the same thing. So I'll come paste it and then search it. Okay, let's go to the first page. Okay, let us go for compiler, and here it is, compiler. So compiler will basically, where it is, okay, a compiler will a program translates into machine code is called as object program, right? So whatever we type into a high level language, the computer doesn't understand that, so that entire code has to get converted into machine code. That code is called as, what does it called as? It is called as the object code, that is the object program. Okay, so a language processor that translates the complete source program as a whole in one go into machine code is called as compiler. And that's the same thing, a language processor that translates the complete source code as a whole in one go into machine code is called compiler. Some of the examples are C, C++ compilers. That's the first point. So you can actually draw a line in between and then differentiate it. So that's the first point. And so if there are any errors in the source code, the compiler specifies the error at the end of the compilation with the line numbers. This is very important. Okay, so that's the second point, and I will paste it as a second point. So children, please write this as points. So that was first point and second point. And then for the interpreter. So what does a compiler do? Compiler will try to find all the errors that is there in the machine, that is there in the code. Okay, if you are not followed the grammar, right? Every language has a grammar. Similarly, even computer language has a grammar. So you haven't followed that properly, then it is going to show the errors. Fine, and then it is going to show all the errors after the entire compilation. What does the interpreter do, children? Interpreter will also convert the entire program into machine, but line by line, and that is the basic difference. So interpreter, the language will translate in source code into machine code and executes it immediately, so which translate a single statement. You can see, okay, that what is they have written. And if this is the first point and the second point as well. So first I will paste the first point, and then the second point. If there is an error in the statement, displayed as an error, that is more than sufficient. So that is about compiler and interpreter. Then we'll go for the next question now, children, and make sure that the functions of OS, we're not going to take the functions of OS completely, because then there will be a lot of writing work for you. I want to save your time as well. So priority scheduling and round robin scheduling, these are very important, but I'm not giving this into writing for the writing part. But you have to do this, children. Buffering and spooling, time sharing and real-time operating system. So please read this, very important for your exam. So to just save your writing time, I'm not giving this as the part of your notebook. Fine, then we will move on. Explain any two utilities. So you can go ahead with the utilities. That is, it was very near, I guess. So let us go for the utility softwares. That is these are all application software and antivirus software. That's the utilities. So utilities, so any two example, the question was any two examples. So you can give any two examples, that is antivirus software. And if it is been asked what are the antivirus, some common types of viruses, okay, such question also can come. So two types of utility software, that is antivirus software and disk defragmenter, you can type. So disk defragmenter, backup utility, compression utility, disk cleaner, file management tools, all these are utility software. So let me just go, I will just type the exact, that was 41, so 46. So the question was, explain any two utilities. So utilities, that is question 2. Question, this is what? Question 8 over here. And then the question. Explain any two utilities, children. So we will explain any two utilities. So that was 41. Good. Okay, so any two utilities, you can take the disk defragmenter. It is very good example and it is very important as well. So disk defragmenter is what I am taking. And okay, I'll try to shorten on this. The memory is used in small chunk randomly. Sometimes when the memory chunks of appropriate size is not available, the operating system breaks or fragments the file. So basically what happens, there are fragments, means pieces onto the hard disk. So it becomes very difficult to access one particular file because that file has been broken into fragments. And this happens because there is a lot of data you copy a lot of data onto your hard disk, as well as you delete a lot of data onto your hard disk. And sometimes there is a lack of memory, one chunk of memory, so the files gets broken into fragments. So there is nothing to cut down over here, children. So that's disk defragmenter. And then I'll give a smaller one, that is a compression utility. I hope this is, you know what is a compression utility software, which compresses the file. This utility is used to compress large files, right? So we have softwares like WinZip and all, which compresses the file. So if it's a very large, huge file, it will compress into smaller size so that it can be easily transferred. So compression is useful because it helps reduce the resource usage, and the file transmission on the network also becomes easy. That's the same thing I told you. So I'll highlight, make it as bold. So that's the eighth question, children. Then let us go for the next question. Just a minute. And the next question is, what is a word processing? Discuss the purpose of word processing software. So I'll just copy this word processing word and paste it, try to find it. So what is a word processor, children? Like MS Word. Right now we are working on MS Word. I'm copying and pasting this in what? This is MS Word. That's the name of the software. What is the type of the software? The type of the software that MS Word is a word processor software by which we can format our document. And this is exactly what we are doing, isn't it? We are just copying and pasting. I'm doing this work, and then I will convert this into a PDF and send you. Fine, so that's the word processor software. So question 9, what is a word processor? And then the answer is, I'll try to keep it short, word processor. Word processor is general purpose application software, first point, used to create documents. It allows us to create, edit, format documents, font size, and till here, children. Okay, you can take this. It's sufficient. And then I will type the answer, that is this one. So what is a word processor? That's more than sufficient. And then we will go ahead with the next question, that is question 10. Let me just switch to 46. And then just two more questions, children. That is, what is the difference between open source and freeware? This is write two examples for each. This is a good question. I will take this question, but still I have just cut down many questions for you. Okay, but these are some of the questions that you need to do in your notebook. And functions of OS, again I'm repeating, for exam point of view, you will be having only one chapter, so make sure you do that preparation of that one chapter very nicely. This is the chapter, that is software concepts, that we are going to have for your upcoming exams. Again I'm repeating it, children. Then open source, it's very near, I will take it from here. Open source is what, children? Where the source code is free. Let us understand. Open source software is a software which gives the user freedom to use the software for any purpose and in any manner. They can be used, modified, and even redistributed. So in simple terms, it can be freely used, but it is not free of charge. So maybe the software is not free of charge, but the source code is free of charge. So in simple terms, it may be freely used, you can use it, but it may not be free of charge. The source code is freely available to the customer. See, it is written, the source code is freely available to the customer, but the Python, TuxPen, etc. are examples. But you cannot own that. I mean, you cannot say that Python belongs to me. No, the source code is available to you, but the software cannot be yours. Okay, so the source software kind of belongs to some organization, some community, an open source community, but you can use the source code, but it's not free. Understand it. So that is source code, and then the freeware. So I will take only till redistributed. Okay, so copy this. That's more than sufficient as a perfect answer, and full stop. And for the example they have asked for children, so Python, tux paint, you can take Python and tux paint. So you can write here, that is example Python and that is freeware. Freeware software is free of cost and usually bundled up with some operating system or any other software. Examples of freeware include Microsoft Internet Explorer, which comes bundled up with Microsoft operating system, is the owner. So freeware is like, it is the, somebody is the owner of the software, but it is free to use the source code, but the source code is not available. So that's the basic difference between open source and freeware. In open source the source code is available, but you cannot, it's not completely, the software itself is not free. Freeware is something that you are free to use the software. There is an owner for the software, but you can freely use that software, and the source code is not available. So this is the very important point. Use it for free. And okay, what this is like, freeware software is free of cost. You can take this as the first point. And I will write freeware, come down. Okay, and then you can say the author of the freeware, but this is not, source code is not available, and this, the second part of the answer. That's it. And this is source code. I will highlight it, source code. This is, make it bold. And that's it children. And there is a last question. If it is not really that useful, I will just see, we can ignore that, but you have to do it children. You have to read the entire chapter. So complete, there are completely, there are how many, 10 questions I'm giving you. How are freeware and free software is different? Now freeware, just now we have gone through the source code. It is free to use, but the source code is not available, isn't it? See, the source code is not available, and a free software is a software which is freely accessible. Okay, there is no license required, no any kind of payment, and even the source code is completely available. So that is the difference between so that is freeware and free software. Fine. So that is all about children. Plus just do this, read the entire chapter, since there are, this is an even number that has come, that complete 10 questions for the chapter. So this is the entire chapter children. This is the entire notes that you're supposed to do. I will just save this, and I will export this to the PDF file. So I will rewrite the previous PDF file and I will post it in the WhatsApp, and you can take it children. So where is it, notes, and I will rewrite onto that. Okay, so this PDF file is ready for you. Again, I'm repeating unofficially, there is an upcoming exam for you. You will be having only one chapter. Notes I have given to you, that is 10 questions, but other than the 10 questions, these are important questions, but please read the entire chapter as well. The questions, small 1 or 2 mark questions, can be asked from elsewhere. And the function, system functions, OS functions, I mean to say, the operating system functions is also very, very important. Please do that children. Okay, so I'm ending this session children. We will meet tomorrow, and tomorrow most probably we are going to start with the number system. Bye for now children.